In the MCU, Hulk isn't just Bruce Banner, it's a whole gamma-powered family. From Hulk and She-Hulk to Abomination, Red Hulk, Skaar, and the Leader, each one is a different kind of transformation. Let's break down how they were created, their biggest moments, and where they stand now. Bruce Banner, the original Hulk. Bruce Banner was a brilliant scientist trying to recreate the super soldier serum using gamma radiation, but the experiment went wrong, blasting Bruce with massive gamma exposure and turning him into the Hulk, an unstoppable powerhouse that erupts whenever Bruce loses emotional control. From day one, Bruce's life becomes a nightmare. He's hunted by General Ross, forced to live on the run, and constantly searching for a cure while trying to protect Betty Ross from the danger that follows him. His first major MCU war is against Abomination, Emil Blonsky, who mutates into a monstrous rival. Their brutal Harlem battle proves Hulk's raw power, but also hints that there's a conscience under the rage. In the Avengers, Banner becomes the team's most dangerous asset and slowly learns to aim the monster at the right targets, smashing Loki and helping save New York. But in Age of Ultron, things fall apart when Wanda messes with his mind. Hulk goes out of control, and the Hulkbuster fight leaves Bruce drowning in guilt. Believing he's a threat to the world, Bruce disappears. That exile leads into Thor Ragnarok, where Hulk has taken over on Skaar as a gladiator champion, while Bruce is basically locked inside. When Bruce finally returns, the fear of losing himself continues into Infinity War, especially after Thanos humiliates Hulk, and Hulk refuses to come out again. Between Infinity War and Endgame, Bruce finds a solution. He merges his mind with Hulk's body to become Smart Hulk, strength with control. In Endgame, he helps time travel, then uses the Infinity Gauntlet to bring everyone back, permanently damaging his arm in the process. In She-Hulk, Bruce shifts into mentor mode, helping Jennifer Walters understand her powers. And in his latest on-screen moment, he shows up at a family dinner and casually introduces his son, Skaar, confirming a whole off-world Hulk storyline has been happening in the background. There is a rumor that Bruce could appear in Spider-Man: Brand New Day. If it ever happens, fans are speculating it could be a more serious, older Banner, and maybe even a return of the classic, angrier Hulk instead of full-time Smart Hulk. Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk. Jennifer Walters is a successful Los Angeles attorney whose life changes overnight after a car accident with her cousin, Bruce Banner. Their blood mixes during the crash, and because Bruce's blood is gamma-charged, Jen transforms into She-Hulk, strong, durable, and green, but with something Bruce struggled for years to maintain control. Her journey in She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, is less save the universe and more survive being superhuman in public. Jen is hired by GLK and H to lead their superhuman law division, instantly becoming the face of the firm while still wanting a normal life. She handles wild MCU legal cases, like representing Emil Blonsky, also known as Abomination, while also dealing with the pressure of fame, dating, and constant internet-level hate aimed at She-Hulk. And the show's biggest surprise flex is how it uses the fourth wall. Jen doesn't just narrate, she literally takes control of her own story in the finale, confronting Kevin, the AI behind the Marvel formula, and rewrites the ending to focus on what matters to her. On the superhero side, Jen also crosses paths with Matt Murdock, Daredevil, when he shows up in episode 8 for a legal case and ends up teaming with her in costume, proving Jen can handle street-level hero chaos too. By the end, Jen accepts that She-Hulk isn't ruining her life, she is her life now. She keeps her career, keeps her confidence, and chooses to define herself on her own terms, not the world's. If we look at her current status and future, Jen is established as the MCU's go-to superhuman lawyer, and she's perfectly positioned to pop up anywhere legal trouble follows superheroes, especially with more vigilantes and powered people showing up across the MCU. Emil Blonsky, aka Abomination, is basically the Hulk's darkest mirror. A soldier who wanted power, got gamma enhanced, and turned into something he couldn't fully control. Blonsky starts as an elite British special ops fighter working with General Thaddeus Ross to hunt Bruce Banner. After seeing what Hulk can do, he becomes obsessed with matching that power and volunteers for an experimental serum, an early attempt to recreate Captain America-style results. It boosts him at first, but it also damages him, and his hunger for more pushes him toward the real mistake. He injects himself with Bruce Banner's gamma-irradiated blood, mutating into the monstrous Abomination. His MCU main event is the Incredible Hulk. Abomination goes on a rampage through Harlem, forcing Banner to transform and fight him head-on. The battle is brutal and destructive, and it ends with Hulk defeating Blonsky and Abomination being taken into custody. Years later, the MCU brings him back with a twist. In Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Abomination is seen alive and fighting in underground cage matches, most notably against Wong, suggesting he's no longer just locked away as a government secret. Then, in She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, Emil reappears as a more reformed figure who wants parole, speaks like a self-help guru, and tries to move past the monster reputation, even though the Abomination side is still very real. Emil is no longer treated as a one-and-done villain. He's active in the superhuman world again, tied to Wong and the legal system, and positioned as a wild card who could swing either heroic or dangerous depending on who pulls the strings next. Thaddeus Ross Red Hulk. Thaddeus Ross is the MCU's longtime anti-Hulk figure, a military hardliner who spent years hunting Bruce Banner, then rose into politics and ultimately became the very thing he feared. Red Hulk. Ross first makes his mark in The Incredible Hulk as the general leading the manhunt for Banner, with a personal stake because Bruce is connected to his daughter, Betty Ross. His obsession with controlling gamma power helps create even bigger disasters, especially when his operation contributes to the rise of Abomination. By Captain America Civil War, Ross has climbed to U.S. Secretary of State and becomes the face of government control over superheroes through the Sokovia Accords. Even when Hulk isn't around, Ross is still trying to put powered people under a leash. Then comes the Red Hulk transformation in Captain America Brave New World. Ross becomes president, is secretly taking gamma-laced pills tied to Samuel Stearns, the leader, and the gamma is triggered, turning him into Red Hulk during a public incident that leads to a destructive rampage, including heavy damage at the White House. Sam Wilson's Captain America confronts him, survives a brutal fight, and ultimately calms him down by appealing to Ross's humanity and his relationship with Betty, leading Ross to revert back. Afterward, Ross resigns and surrenders, and he's incarcerated in the Raft, the MCU's high-security prison for enhanced individuals. Red Hulk is contained for now, but Ross has crossed the line from political threat to gamma-level weapon, meaning if he ever breaks out, it's an Avengers-scale emergency. Next in line is Skaar. Skaar is Bruce Banner's son. Skaar's only live-action appearance so far is a cameo in the She-Hulk Attorney at Law finale, where Bruce returns from Skaar and casually introduces him at the Banner family gathering. Skaar doesn't speak in that scene, but his look is important. He's green, clearly Hulk-powered, and he's wearing battle-style gear that visually connects him to Skaar and the Gladiator era from Thor Ragnarok. The MCU doesn't explain his full backstory yet. No mother reveal, no timeline, no details on how Bruce went from stranded on Skaar as Hulk to bringing a son back to Earth. But the implication is huge. Bruce's Skaar storyline didn't end with Ragnarok, and Skaar is proof something major happened off-screen. In terms of who plays him, Skaar is portrayed in the cameo by Will Dusner, using the same kind of performance/CG approach Marvel uses for other Hulk-level characters. Skaar is now on Earth with Bruce, and that sets up the MCU's next Gamma arc. Samuel Stearns. Samuel Stearns, also known as the Leader, is the MCU's smartest Gamma villain. He isn't exactly a Hulk, but he absolutely belongs in the Hulk family corner of the MCU because his mutation is powered by gamma radiation, the same force that created Hulk, She-Hulk, and Abomination, except it upgraded his brain, not his body. He first appears in The Incredible Hulk as a cellular biologist and professor who works with Bruce Banner to find a cure, communicating online as Mr. Blue, while Banner is Mr. Green. Stearns successfully engineers an antidote, but everything goes sideways when he's forced to use Banner's blood on Emil Blonsky, helping create Abomination, and then a drop of Banner's blood infects an open wound on Stearns' head, rapidly mutating his brain and supercharging his intelligence. After that, Stearns is taken into custody and becomes a long-term prisoner of Thaddeus Ross at Camp Echo 1. Ross repeatedly exposes him to more gamma radiation to amplify his mind and forces him to create technology for the government, plus heart medication pills for Ross himself. Stearns eventually agrees to help Ross climb all the way to the presidency in exchange for freedom and a pardon. But when Ross refuses to honor their deal, Stearns fully embraces the name Leader and decides he won't just hurt Ross, he'll destroy Ross's legacy. In Captain America: Brave New World, Leader escalates everything. He uses a mind control device to turn soldiers into weapons, including Isaiah Bradley, tries to push the world toward war, and even triggers Ross's Red Hulk transformation as the final humiliation. But when Sam Wilson stops the plan, Stearns surrenders and ends up locked in the Raft prison, where he leaves Sam with one last warning: bigger multiversal threats are still coming. And that's every major Hulk character in the MCU, each one born from Gamma, but shaped by totally different choices. Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe for more interesting MCU breakdowns.